Hello, YouTube and X and BTM here, bringing you back to the BTM Crypto News Network. So thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and super chat. And you can also hit me on the Cash App. So thanks for joining. And this is a Kaspa update. So we're going through Kaspa news and see what's going on. And is the bottom finally in for Kaspa? So let me know what you guys think. Is the price finally going to start to push up again? Let me know in the comments. So this is our sponsor, Caleb & Brown. Caleb & Brown is a 24/7 brokerage. They have human support for you, an expert to help you in your crypto journey. If you're new to crypto and trying to find how to navigate the crypto markets, Caleb & Brown is here for you. They give you a one-on-one broker. You can use my link in the description. I think it gives you 5% off on your sign up. So big shout out to Caleb & Brown. Just trying to keep the lights on here on the BTM Crypto News Network. So thanks for joining. And let's go over to the bubbles. You can see here, there's a lot of green on the bubbles. Swarms is up 4.6. Cosmos is up 3.4. Jupiter's up 3.1. Canaan Network's up 7.4. Trump Coin's up 1.5. ZK's up 6.4. Safe is up 4.4. XCN is up 1.2. Bitcoin CV is up 2.5. Beer's up 4.4. Gala is up 2.9. Pith is up 4.6. ICP is up 3.6. XLM's up 2.4. Algorand is up 7.3. Lynx is up 4.6. Nexo's up 4.9. Sui's up 4. Lithium is up 0.8. Monero's up 2.2. Ton is up 1.8. Tao's up 5.1. Stats is up 4.4. Cardano's up 4.6. CXV's up 1.1. Cubic is up 2.8. Telecoin is up 2.9. HBAR is up 4.1. Dash is up 2.3. Ingest is up 4.5. Ordinance up 4.5. Arbitron's up 2.4. Flare's up 3.5. Nero's up 4.7. XRP is up 4.6. AIOZ is up 2.3. Ethereum's up 5%. XPR is up 2.2. Aerodrone is up 3%. Radian's up 5. Hash flow is up 5.9. Solana is up 4.8. Filecoin's up 2.1. Ondo's up 3.9. Quant is up 1.6. AIXBT is up 5%, 5.3. Bitcoin is up 5.2 on the day, up 0.3 on the hour. For the week, it's down 4.4. For the month, it is up 0.7. For the year, it's up 13.6. Flux is up 6.1%. Zcash is up 12.2. FET is up 2.1. Poly is up 3.7. SQD is up 3.3. Binance is up 2.1. AVAX is up 2.7. XNO is up 2.6. And Kaspa is up 1.4, unchanged on the hour, down 6.2 on the week, down 11.6 on the month, and down 68.8 on the year to 3.9 cents. So let me know what you guys think about that. Here is, we'll start with the 5-minute chart. on the 5-minute chart. RSI is 57.05. RSI based moving average is 55.38. Let me see here. Trying to make this a little bigger. So on the chart, it is red over blue. So it is bearish and they're losing volume on the 5-minute. On the 15-minute, they're bullish, building volume. RSI is 54.9. RSI base moving average is 50.27. Got a couple of green candles on the 15-minute. On the 45-minute, it is RSI is 50.9. RSI moving average is 56.2. Building volume on the 45-minute, and it is bullish. So on the 2-hour, it's losing volume, and it is bearish, I guess. Got a bit of a pump. Got a couple green candles. RSI is 40. RSI base moving average is 42.9. RSI is 44.1. On the 4-hour chart, RSI is 43.1. RSI base moving average is 44.8. They're losing volume, and it is bearish on the 4-hour. You see here, Kaspa is down 0.09 on the hour, up 1.25 on the day, down 6.94 on the week, down 12.06 for the month, down 29.78 for 90 days, and for the year, it is down 69.2. So let me look at the bubbles. The comments. What up, Silver Days? What up? I don't know what this dead project. Gladly got out 19 months ago. Good luck long term. And hope you didn't get out too soon, my guy. And this project is an underdog, and I love an underdog. So this is Kmart. What's going on? And Silver Days, what's going on with your fam? So on the Kaspa Explorer, TPS is 11, 10.6 on the hour. Average nodes is 619. BPS is 9.5. Miners is 258. Hash rate is 453 petahash. Circuit supply is 22.1. Block reward is 3.46. Next reduction down to 3.27 hash per block reward. USD price is 4 cents, up 1.3. Transactions are 9,013 on the week. It doesn't change on the week and the day. That's weird. Address actives are, well, this number doesn't change. That's weird. In the hour, it is 692 all-time, 94 million. Casplex is 1,334. KRC 20 is 61. KRC 721 is 1. Ingrid Labs is 0. Cash, which is the messaging, is 13 in the last hour. Cash Speak is 35 in the last hour. K Social is 21 in the last hour. Kaspa Play is 11 in the last hour. KPS is 0. And this are the addresses. Looking at the transactional data. Looking at the miner data. So via BTC, F2 pool, Hum pool, K1 pool, Kaspa pool, and others. The hash rate is 453. That's weird. I don't like how they changed the Kaspa stream around. Doesn't really give you a lot of information. Current address is 539,000. So for entity X, I'm not even sure what that is, on the day is up 2.3 million. Mexi's down 450,000. Gate.io is down 6.9 million. Bybit is up 1.7 million. And this address added 3.7 on the day. For the Aquaman, there's 2 humpbacks 14, whales 143, sharks 2,781, dolphins 21,793, fish 64,000, octopus 97,000, crabs 99,000, shrimp 104,000, and oysters is 147,000, and plankton is 224,000. This is contributors to the stream. Not even 100% sure what that means, but this is Kaspa Lens. I was trying to check something here. Guess these are articles. KRC20. Okay, so we do finally have KRC20 tokens. So KRC20 is Nacho is top spot with 3.4 million market cap. Zale's back in the number 2 spot with 2.1 million. Kaspi is 1.1 million. Kango is 883,000. PPKS is 647,000. Kasper is 399,000. Kas BTC is 304,000. Conan, top dog on Kaspa, is 170,000. Kashi is 122,000. Slow is 89,000. K-Rex is 65,000. Croak is 55,000. Bert is 47,000. Pac-Man is 14,000. Bomo is 11,000. Goach is 89,000. Gecko 79,000, and K-Paw is 67,000. So if we go back to the dashboard, price is up 0.93 on the day, market cap $1 billion. 24-hour volume is 18.9 million. Download the K-Lens app. HTX is up 0.94%, Maxi 0.97%, Bybit 0.81%, AIO 0.68%. XT.com is down 6.61%. KuCoin up 0.91%, Bybit up 0.81%, and CoinW is 0.83%. Trying to see if there are any other useful information here. This is the Kaspa Hub for the resources and information. This is the Kaspa News. So we'll go over to the Crypto News Network for the BTM, and we'll run through some articles for Kaspa. Kaspa is coming to Binance sooner than you expect. Most were ready for what's happening when Kaspa hits Binance. The node counts at an all-time high. Hash rate is climbing daily. Meanwhile, retail is still chasing memes. BlockDAG, tech plus POW security, real adoption, something most will only understand after the fact. Are you positioned or still watching from the sidelines? Definitely positioned and waiting for that move back up. Binance Kaspa does not bring enough customers. Kaspa every day is 93.6 bullish at the 004. FET is 93.5. Bonk is 93.2. Putty Penguin is 93.1. H-bar is 89.9. Stellar's 89.3. BitTender's 87.9. I might need to do some BitTender lives. Cardano is 87. Cosmos is 85. And Pepe is 85.3. I think we just read that article. This is Jim Skibum. Shout out to Jim. Kaspa is a sleeper. Watching people pile into other assets that are in euphoria with high probability of setting all-time highs, frames, peaks that won't be reclaimed for years. Bottom form quietly while tops are always loud. This is how and why people will buy tops and sell the bottoms, which makes no sense. Third retest of Kaspa at 4 cents. Daily oscillator at 60-day MA, and presenting another bullish discount while Kaspa consolidates. I have not seen this much fear in a while. Bottom signals by the fear. Kaspa holders show diamond hands. 18% of the supply untouched for 2 years. According to various reports with the Kaspa Unchained, ecosystem, the amount of Kaspa that has not moved at any time in the last 2 years hit an all-time high. The likes of the daily Kaspa highlight incredible figure of 18%. A growing share of Kaspa is staying untouched for long term, a clear sign of increasing conviction among long-term holders. Kaspa wake up community. Every time hundreds vote yes, but literally almost no one donates. This has to stop. I'm matching the current balance right now. After that, I add 50% of every new total between my updates, stop voting, and start sending. So this is Kaspa Niger. Kaspa Nigeria. About Kaspa Niger education series explaining the BlockDAG knowledge across Nigeria and Africa. The Kaspa education series is an initiative designed to introduce students, developers, and businesses to Kaspa, the world's fastest, most scalable proof of work BlockDAG. So far, we've successfully hosted impact sessions at the University of Nigeria, the New US, Nigeria, somewhere else, Alex Federal University, and Godfrey OK University. These events inspire hundreds of students, sparking new interest in blockchain innovation and giving young people tools to explore Kaspa's ecosystem. These are other contributors. Wallet bounce 38,708. Close that out. 93,000 Kaspa. Who else bought more? Bought 93,000 Kaspa at 3,639 USD. Kaspa's hash rate is slowly coming back. And let me see. On Kaspa Lens, let's see price and hash rate. Where is it? Oh, no, I didn't mean to close that. So there are more projects on Kaspa. We're excited to announce In the Flow, first framework for optimal market making on Kaspa's using the blocks DAG. Our new papers optimize market making a directed essential GAF blockchain, extends the classic Availane something model to Kaspa's parallel block environment. Key insights by quoting across multiple parallel blocks. Market makers can reduce inventory risk, something impossible on linear chains. At KII, our focus is on engineering, creating market enabling tools to connect enterprise needs with Kaspa capabilities. Full white paper, why this is an important Lego piece in the KII as market enablers. Unlike linear blockchains, Kaspa's 10 BPS blockjack enables a form of branching time market making. This opens the door for multi-market strategies, from high frequency pairs to slower real world assets, all secured by the same blockchains. At the Kaspa Industry Initiative, the KII, we're all about marketing, enabling real world tools, thinking tokenish RWAs like carbon credits, energy assets, or supply chains. Shout out to Olive Chain. I gotta look Olive Chain up. Kaspa Daily, community-focused projects, K-Notes, Kaspa Notes to release more information soon. While we prepare more information and detailed documentation for the K-Notes project, the website will be live and accessible soon. Here's a sneak peek. More clarity and structure will follow. Independent review of emerging Kaspa ecosystem projects. So I'm gonna have to swing to KII and check that out. Kaspa supply hasn't moved in over 2 years. Just hit a new all-time high. A growing share of Kaspa is staying untouched for long term, even while price and hash rate remain volatile. A clear sign of increasing conviction among long-term holders. Happy Monday. What up, Moon Feather? Silver Days, so much love to you. Shout out to Moon Feather and Silver Days. These days, we all can use some good vibes, retro style even. Feels good, well done. Everyone should be following Kaspa Thon, no matter if the teams win or lose. We all win. 200 apps and tools. In the making. New Kaspa arcade game, Kaspa Pong. This is my Kaspa-thon project. I'll be making more updates as to its time goes on before submitted. It's playable. It's free to play. The ball responds real time, crypto data, and gets faster every time Kaspa price goes up. So this is Kaspa and Ingrid, layer 2 on Kaspa blockchain. What is the Ingrid network? Kaspa designed a high throughput proof of work blockchain capable of processing transactions at speeds and scales uncommon among UTXO based networks. Its block DAG architecture enables parallel processing. Huge shout out to the Kaspa's miners. Wait, go back here. This is where I went once Ethereum went proof of work. So I was mining Ethereum, and once Ethereum went proof of stake, right, we found Kaspa. I remember the days and started mining Kaspa, and Kaspa took off. Since then, it has been up and down and sideways. But shout out to the early days of Kaspa mining. Huge shout out to the Kaspa miners holding down the trenches now. While the rest of the world's sleeping, we're managing hash rate optimization, your ASICs, and battling the heat. It must feel like the ragged clothes phase of a journey today, but the new real ones know that Kaspa isn't just another coin. It's the fastest, most scalable layer 1 out there. To the miners who haven't turned off their machines during the dips, who understand the power of ghost stack technology, who have stacked sats and silver coins while others chase hype. The 2028 version of you is ready, thanking you for the discipline you're showing today. Keep those fans spinning and those blocks coming. We're still mining currency. We're mining the future silver standard of digital assets. Stay bullets, stay decentralized, stay Kaspa. 13,000 Kaspa mined daily with just 60 KS7s. Imagine the future when Kaspa hits $1. Kaspa crypto mining, future Kaspa digital mining. Kaspa's coming back. CoinMarketCap and Binance know what is up. Most bullish sentiment on CoinMarketCap. Kaspa at 89.6. AVAX at 85. Shiba Inu at 82. Pepe at 80. Pi at 74. Hadir at 73. XRP at 70, Asher at 71, Solana at 71, and BitTensor at 69. Hey, do you use Cas messaging or K Social? There are great tools built on Kaspa that provide user decentralized, secure, fast, and uncensored communications with one after another. Transactions are tracked on Cas Steam. I think I had that open, or actually I still have it open. Keeping it moving. Only 20% of this list wasn't paid by a corporation to get there. See if you can guess who it is. Pompalinsky, HBAR, Asher, Cas, Sui, and Zero Layer. Most bullish, Hadir at 93.5, Asher at 87, Kaspa at 87, Sui at 86, and Layer 0 at 86. So Kaspa's outdoing Sui and Layer 0. So this is when Kaspa's price go up, the ball goes faster. Kaspa, FQA.com, Kaspa, Palm. Let me check that out. Kaspa is sitting at a key decision zone. Kaspa currencies compressing between the trend line resistance and strong horizon support at the 038 and the 039. Price still below descending trend line. The 0.036 fib, 0.035 holding downside protection. For now, intermediate resistance at the 051 and the 052. Bigger flip zone, the 064 to 07 at the 0.5 and the 0.618 fib. RSI stuck in the 40-50 range. No panic selling, more like accumulation. Biased. As long as the 308 holds, risk stay defined. Clean trend line break. Reclaim opens the door for a strong upside push. Still early, but this is how reversals usually start. Top 10 projects by bullish sentiment. The community is standing strong despite the chop. Kaspa at 89.6, AVAX at 85, SHIB at 82. Usage Pi dominates 4.4 million votes. Green, XRP, and Pepe are positive today. Who are you most bullish on? HBAR, Solana, Tau, Crypto. For their bold dedication and unwavering service to Tangem, we'll proudly recognize the champions of our ambassadors of the month. So, Pompolinski, FinTech Portal, Martin, Dan Fox, David Seven, Banana, Dalmer, Crypto Mambo, and Ystan. Kaspa is climbing to the top weekly swaps on Tangent. Kaspa's bullish. Last week's swaps stats are in. Are there any surprises? Number 1, XRP. Number 2, Solana. Number 3, Kaspa. Number 4, HBAR. And number 5, TXR. I think that is Tron, I think. Kaspa on Saturday. Rest of the market. Reoccurring pattern. Take the hint. Kaspa and top 10 gainers. Who else bought the dip? Definitely been DCAing on the dip. If Kaspa loses the 4-cent support, I'll be looking for the 302, which is another 20% drop in the KAS. Does Kaspa hold this level? All eyes on the BTC. Kaspa's number one wallet has added 2.3 million CAS as the price slips below the 0.4. Accumulation continues during the weakest, suggesting large holders are using downside volatility to increase exposure rather than dilution. Remember when cell phones first dropped and nobody touched instant messaging for years? Fast forward 10 years, texting became the default because it was instant, effortless, and left your phone calls in the dust. Kaspa is the same shift, but for money, not for instant messaging, instant value. No delays, no bottlenecks, no pending, just pure real-time settlement. When the rest of the world finally realizes what this means, the adoption curve is going to look exactly like texting did, explosive. Instant money, the world isn't ready for how fast this is about to move. Let's freaking go. I forgot I still have my Castle wallet. I have to check out today. Good morning. Casters L2 swaps are officially live on mobile app via Zealous. You can now swap instantly between CAS and WCAS with all available KRC20 tokens in just a few taps. What? For everyone asking, integration with Kaspa.com is next on the list and coming ASAP. Stay tuned. LME Kaspa Crypto. I think it's about time we start looking into Kaspa. Mate, it's gearing up to deliver DeFi at the speed of Photon, and its development is smashing through all preconceptions. Since I'm been following you for years, I figure it's only fair to hand you a ticket to Kaspa Lenda, just in case. One of a few truly remarkable Kaspa whales that has consistently supported community, builders, promoters, mods over the last 3 years. 20% of the holding is mind-blowing. I've never lost hope that the early whales will wake up and start contributing to the community, even in small ways. Why the hell have I spent over 20% of my total holdings on donations and community support? Yeah, I see zero signs of similar efforts for those who joined in the first 6 months. What are they even thinking? From the builder's desk, the next protocol and institutional allocation capital. Who matters in Web3 gathering consensus joined thousands in Miami for 3 days of collaboration, learning, and partnership building. It's the one event you can't afford to miss. Kaspa stats. Kaspa is at the 039. Capitalization 1.3 billion. Mine 94%. Hash rate 453. Current blocks 3.46. Next block reward 3.2. New space for KRC20 L2 Kaspa without mute, including Kingo. So we looked at that already. Pompalinski, number 1 Kasp, number 2 AVAX, number 3 Sheib, number 4 Pepe, and number 5 Pip, Hedera, XRP, and Asher. What is Ingrid Labs and why does it matter to the Kaspa ecosystem? Ingrid Labs is building an L2 network on top of the Kas Unchained L1. That's why the EVM compatible network could have massive implications for the future. Kas port on Ingrid, big updates coming. Migration in progress. Stay tuned. Okay, not really a whole lot there, but we'll keep an eye out for Kas spots. Kaspa News app is now closed for testing on Google Play. Google requires 12 testers for 14 days before public release. I want an early access. Drop your email in my DM or TG Coin Athlete. So we'll see what this is. I might shoot them an email, see if we can get early access to the Kaspa News Hub. And this is back over to ZBCN. So we ran through that kind of quick, actually. So let's look at this is Cat Daddy. Let's see what Cat Daddy has to say.
All right, guys, today I want to talk about kind of an overall crypto strategy that I personally have not done in the past, okay? And it's come back to haunt me on multiple occasions. And because this strategy that I did not...
What up, Peter Morton? What's going on, fam? Running this Kaspa video real quick. Gonna do ZBCN at 7:15, so 1 hour. Stay around or log back in. Let's go.
fully buy into last cycle and the cycle before, and I saw it come back to haunt me. I am not going to make that mistake this time. And what I want to go over with you guys is exactly what that is and exactly what I'm doing this time around in order to make sure that I capitalize on what I have seen happen over and over and over and over again, and not to be scared and not to be too conservative. Okay. Now, this strategy is very simple, and we've technically talked about it before. But even in the past, I have not followed this strategy, and it's hurt me. Now, the strategy is to have conviction in a certain project and just keep buying it. It's that simple, okay? And buy it heavily and buy it extensively. Don't be too conservative and don't be scared, okay? There has been numerous different projects that I have wanted to buy in the past, and I did. But what I didn't do is buy enough of it. I spread things out too thin because I want to be very conservative. But what happens is when these projects that I was convicted in back in the day ended up running, the gains weren't that big because I didn't have enough stock in that project. I even made this mistake with Kaspa early because I was too conservative and I didn't actually
Shout out to Peter Morton. Kaspa's going to the penny range. I'll small bag it as future currency and proof that I'm a real ninja. LOL. I might pick some more up and just stock hold it in case things pop off. He's got a good point. In case it does come back, I'll already have it be ahead of the game. So let's keep it pushing.
CA heavy enough with enough conviction early on in Kaspa to see a massive amount of gains from the half-cent mark to the 20-cent mark. And therefore, I have learned that when you're convicted in a project, when you see the writing behind the wall, when you can see the future of what is being built and what is potentially going to happen down the road, don't go too crazy by the means of selling your house or making you and your family financially stressed out because of it. But what I do mean is whatever money you do have, not financial advice, by the way, convincingly buy that project and wait. I have made this mistake with Dogecoin 2 cycles ago. I have made this mistake with countless other projects where I just didn't buy enough because my conviction wasn't solid enough and I was spread out too thin with a little bit of money in a bunch of different projects that when Dogecoin ran, I made some gains, but they weren't significant, right? Because there wasn't enough money invested in it to see a massive amount of total profit gains in that coin. Dogecoin is just one example. Even Kaspa, like I mentioned before, I was too conservative and I was DCAing not enough into Kaspa at the early stages that I missed the life-changing money amount of gains that I would have gotten if I would have just been fully convicted.
So I do agree with Cat Daddy on that. If I had a FOMO deeper into Kaspa, when it did run, I probably would have made more. I don't know about the Dogecoin one. I don't know how big of a run that actually was. But maybe if you were real deep into it, but I can't FOMO into every project. I'm only FOMOing deep on certain projects, right? So I'm not sure how big a gain or loss that was, but I'm not going to even kid you guys. Some of these projects I'm not going to go too deep into because I don't want to be there on a project that doesn't really do a whole lot. I would rather put a little bit in multiple projects than put all my eggs in one basket, and that basket doesn't run to what we're trying to do. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments as well. And let's get back to the video. I'm working on something on the side here. Give me a second.
At that point. Moral of the story here is I'm not going to make that mistake again. Okay? Kaspa right now, in the scheme of the whole entire crypto market, is not sexy. Price action has just been going down. You've got countless amounts of people on a daily basis, even in my comment section, on every single video I make over the past year, including this video you're watching right now. You go visit the comment section, and I guarantee you're going to see multiple people tell you and myself that Kaspa is dead. Stop telling lies. Invest in a project with real potential. And to that, I tell those people, Kaspa is still building. We see it in real time. And during a bear market, the devs continuing to build and continue to hit their landmark goals that they have set is all you can ask for. And if that continues to happen during a bear market, then the chances of the project rising from the ashes on the other end, when we finally get an altcoin season, is massively higher than a project that quits social media, quits building behind the scenes, quits updating their project, and stops all of the milestones they have set in place on their roadmap. Kaspa is not doing that. Kaspa is doing everything that they say they're going to do and more. And what I'm going to do, and what I hope you guys benefit from when we finally get this next upswing, is that you have invested enough money into Kaspa or any other project that you're convicted in, for that matter, and you have continued to stay focused. You have continued to DCA your hard-earned money into this project, that when it finally does turn around, your bags are full, your bags are packed, and you have enough money invested that when Kaspa turns around and does 10, 20, 50x, you are going to see life-changing gains, and you are not going to have the thought process in your mind that, man, I was too conservative. Man, if I would have just gone in a little bit harder, these gains that I have just made in the amount of X's would have been life-changing for me and my family. And I am not going to make that mistake this time. I am DCAing hard into Kaspa. I'm also DCAing into Sui, but Kaspa is my main project, the bulk of my portfolio. And even though the sentiment around it is not good right now, that will flip on its back and turn a 180 at some point. And then you're going to have everybody FOMOing into Kaspa once again, just like they were doing in 2023. Okay? So take it from me, who has been in the market for multiple cycles. The best strategy is to have the bulk of your portfolio in a project that you have high conviction in and enough money invested that when you do see 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x, 100x, I don't know, out of this project, that will be life-changing money. That won't just be, that was cool, but I turned $20 into $200, right? You want to have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, if you can, invested in a single project that you have conviction in, so that when, again, the market turns, the amount of X's that we're going to get out of this project blesses you with life-changing money. That's why we're in this industry, apart from great technology and the future of where money is going, right? We all want to make money still. And I have learned through multiple cycles of making this exact mistake. A little bit of money in 100 different projects is probably not going to be life-changing, but a lot of money in a few projects, 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe, will allow for life-changing gains if you can wait long enough for the market to shift and you realize those X's and realize those profits. Again, I'm saying this out of experience. I'm saying this out of watching this happen on more than 10 occasions in my past of investing in crypto. And I want to bring it to your guys' attention so that you potentially don't make the same mistakes. Invest heavily in very few projects with a solid amount of money rather than spread a little bit of money out over 100 projects. That is how I have literally seen with my own eyes the best success rates in this crypto space. And that is why I am going pretty much all in on Kaspa, no matter what the sentiment around the project is right now. I can see through the fog, I can see through the clouds, and I can see the sunshine on the other end. Think about this for a second. How many times over the course of Bitcoin's life cycle has it been pronounced dead by the media? A lot of times. I think it's over 100. And guess what? Those who continued to put money into Bitcoin, regardless of what was going on, the noise in the background, everybody telling you Bitcoin was dead, those are the people who have made life-changing money for themselves and their families. Those are the people who have been successful in this market. So no matter how many times you hear Kaspa is dead, no matter how many times you hear Kaspa will never get tier 1 exchange listings, no matter how many times you hear anything negative about Kaspa, take it with a grain of salt, see the sunshine through the clouds. As long as the team and the lead developers are still building, the future is bright. Remember that. That's the bottom line. That's all you need to remember. As long
So shout out to Cat Daddy. He is correct, right?
long
If you are for the project, you got to go all in, right? You can't put a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there, a couple dollars somewhere else, and expect them all to take off. At some point, you got to make a decision on what you're going to invest in and ride it out. But it's pretty good advice, actually, sir. So no hate there, but you got to keep holding. If that's the project you want to do your own research and go for it, right? Don't get shook out by haters or someone else that's not even invested in the project, or somebody who invested and got out, and then as soon as the project makes money, they're like, oh man, I sold. Okay, well, we didn't tell you to sell, right? But it's up to you and what your conviction in the project is. So let's see. Just making some edits here. Let's see what this guy's talking about, and then we'll come back to my crypto.
Need to be ready. Markets now demand accountability. They demand proof, evidence, and demonstrations that crypto serves real economic needs, not FOMO, not hype, infrastructure. So while retail right now is panicking over the next government shutdown, institutions and world leaders are quietly publishing a survival guide for 2026. And in my opinion, not financial advice, I believe the survival guide is being built on Kaspa. In this instance, I'm talking about the KII's recently launched GeoSil as one of many projects they've launched. But GeoSil here is the first ever proof of place and also proof of existence protocol. It solves the accountability problem the SEC and Wall Street have been screaming about, and no one is ready for this. In this recent exclusive from Dow Jones, they confirm who the winners will be in 2026. The winners won't be companies with the best product demos or highest valuations. Instead, the winners will boast sustainable economics, regulatory compliance, and balance sheets strong enough to survive the stress tests ahead. So in layman terms, for you and for us to understand, the winners won't be the ones with the flashiest marketing and the highest price in the markets. The winners will be the ones that have the infrastructure capable of surviving a financial crisis. And in my belief, if we think about it, this is Kaspa, a fair launch proof of work with no pre-mines and no ICOs. It is structurally a commodity, not a security. And with its block DAG architecture, that is the balance sheet strength. Block DAG is a network that doesn't break under the stress of 10 BPS. It's built to survive the exact financial crisis Dow Jones and Wall Street is warning about. While other layer ones in crypto are struggling to explain their ICOs to regulators and they're burning through the VC cash to keep their nodes running and to keep the price of their projects up and looking attractive, Kaspa's architecture was built for this exact moment. And the KII, they are acting as market enablers, promoting Kaspa to industries and businesses and demonstrating to them that Kaspa is a global utility, not a crypto, an infrastructure tool that can solve real problems. In my opinion, again, it's not financial advice, it's my personal belief. The ultimate survival guide that Dow Jones is referencing here and talking about is being built on Kaspa right now. And the reason I say that is because of who Dow Jones are. They're more than just a massive financial news powerhouse. They are the ultimate survival guide. They are the evidence that we need. Dow Jones, in accordance with this document here, was created in 1896. So therefore, you know now that Dow Jones has survived the Great Depression, 2 world wars, and then the 2008 financial crisis. They are the survival guide. Not to mention, DJIA is a list of the 30 biggest major US blue chip stocks. We're talking Apple, Microsoft, Disney, and many, many more. Point being is, if you want to survive this current market climate and the trends of time happening right now, you want to make money, you listen to what Dow Jones is telling you here. You listen to what they're telling you. Like the fact that hype and FOMO is a thing of the past. They are dead. It won't repeat in 2026. What markets demand now is accountability, proof, evidence, and demonstrations that crypto serves real economic needs. If you want to see the full 2026 playbook and exclusive documents like these that I've pulled from these institutional archives, check out the free trial, join the VIP, and links down below in the description. Discover more on how certain assets in this space, like Kaspa in this instance, is what Wall Street have been searching for. And the KII are showcasing that to the banks and to their enterprise clients. Stuff like Warp Core, which is being used by banks right now and in a sandbox environment. And then also like their recently launched GeoSeal, currently up and running already, the first ever proof of existence protocol running off Kaspa. This is what Wall Street, what Dow Jones highlights that Wall Street desires. And this here is what Rory O'Neill, KII, stated about their GeoSeal and also how Kaspa fits into the agenda of what leading institutions are looking for. In this instance, therefore, Baker McKinsey, one of the leading law firms with 90% of their client list being the Fortune 500. Listen very closely to these 2 clips here from this podcast.
How we're building things within Kaspa is we're doing things with great intention and great care to do things in a logical order to make onboarding to Kaspa very simple to industry. So Workcore was the first for a very easy onboarding of financial institutions, much easier than anybody else that's doing an ISO stuff. And we'll talk about Workcore in a little while, I'm sure. So GeoSeal is something that's going back to first principles. And what it is, it's a proof of place and proof of existence system built on Kaspa. It lets a person, an asset, or a key event cryptographically attest that it actually occurred at a specific location and time without tracking or surveillance. So instead of GPS logs or self-reported data, GeoSeal creates a single intentional proof that's anchored immutably on Kaspa that can later be verified by regulators, insurers, or counterparties. And it's very important for things like real-world asset tokenization and yield-producing infrastructure, where you don't just need to say something was there, you need to prove that it existed there when it mattered. So this is very important for real-world assets in particular. So it proves that something actually existed at a particular time and place. So effectively what it does is it turns physical reality into a verifiable fact. That's what this product is for. It's operational right now. And the first assets we're going to start tagging are a number of olive trees for olive chain to start populating that a little bit. And that'll start quite soon. But it goes much further than that, and we have a pipeline of it's between 26 and 28,000 other facilities that we want to include in this initial proof of place and proof of existence of particular facilities for enterprises, all on Kaspa.
Have you had much interest in it yet, or have you spoken to anybody about it?
Yeah, we've spoken to a lot of people, and when we talk about some later on about some of the companies and the people.
He talks about the ones that will be rewarded are those who can transform legal and regulatory challenges into efficiencies. And I'm just thinking that's what I'm seeing Walcor doing right now, as they allow banks to retain their own self-sovereignty. And then with KRI and the data centers, of course, we are seeing, we saw in their recent presentation last week, where they had Kaspa, as I quickly shift screen, Kaspa, in the presentation right here, had Kaspa as the virtual layer and settlement as well. So it gets it almost once more reiterated my belief that the industrial side of what's happening with Kaspa, the focus is in the right areas, and it seems to be quite a global alignment, that word again, in regards to what is needed to be built right now.
Yeah, so we can frame this very simply. AI is forcing a complete rewrite of energy economics, because data centers are energy factories. And as that grows, two things matter. Procuring clean energy credibly, and then settling and auditing those claims at scale. And this is where Kaspa fits, and where some of the KI projects fit in quite nicely. Proof of clean energy sourcing, the certificates and contracts become very important, because you need to have auditability. You need to have verifiable receipts for claims, especially across borders and vendors. And in terms of market tooling, it needs to be more granular, high frequency markets instead of quarterly paperwork.
The winners won't be companies with the best product demos or highest valuations. The winners won't be the ones with the flashiest marketing or the highest price. That tells you exactly what's happening right now in the market's price is a distraction from what's taking place behind the scenes at the foundation level. What institutions actually care about is infrastructure. That's exactly why the daily price action of Kaspa is noise to that of an investor who has done their own research. As a trader, though, of course, knowing Kaspa's price action right now is important. Kaspa's currently valued at 0.03996, up roughly 1.07% on the daily time frame. This is important, good info for us to have, because when paired this with the fundamental research, like the incoming FOMC meeting and the imminent government shutdown, it can give you an idea of where the price is heading and what position you should take. I'd say right now, not financial advice, that short term for Kaspa and for crypto is looking a little bit rough, but the mid to long term into 2026 and beyond that is looking stronger than ever. But do you agree? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Come check out the VIP to learn much more and level up your crypto game and gains. And
so shout out to Quick Crypto and that quick update about Kaspa. And this is Next Gen Finance News. But let's run your crypto crew real quick.
I'm back, or if this is your first time, I'm Captain Crypto Might, actively escaping the matrix, scoping out the crypto.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Get your main man up with a super chat. If you can't super chat, go ahead and throw a cash app to your main man BTM. We're just trying to keep the lights on here on the BTM Crypto News Network.
Ocean, so if you like your odds, get on the boat, stay up to date, thumbs up, and join the hunt.
Into the boat!
Crypto Crew, today we're bringing you an exclusive look into the future of industrial blockchain, diving into a high-level session from Blockchain Banter, hosted by the legends Crypto Pumps and Quick Crypto. This isn't your typical Moonboy talk, as they're joined by Invi Terezi and Rory O'Neill from the KII, the Kaspa Industrial Initiative. So if you've been wondering how Kaspa moves from a cool tech project to the backbone of worldwide energy and AI infrastructure, this is the interview you've been waiting for. Stay tuned, Crypto Crew.
Show me.
Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Quick reminder to keep your Kaspa coins, Bitcoins, and crypto investments safe. In our opinion, Tangem is the best way for you to do that. Right now, you can grab 20% off your Tangem wallet plus $10 in Bitcoin. Just enter in the codes NYExtra26 and Crypto Crew with the link in the description box below. Thanks so much for your consideration and support in advance, and may the Lord Jesus Christ bless you all.
People are very interested in Kaspa, but they are very shy to talk about it, or very conservative in the way that this is something which is too good to be true. So we usually have those meetings and we really talk with those people in private. It's not like something we would be advertising for them, maximum 4 people in a small corner where you basically talk about it on a deep level so they could actually understand what it can be done. And what we rather do, instead of explaining what is Kaspa, is explaining how we are using it, for what we are using it, and how it can be implemented, and what are our showcases. And to be frank, when you start talking about one subject or one initiative we have, you can't stop, because you need to actually explain all the different pieces. It's not one thing, it's not 2 things, it's a Lego. There are pieces which are known, there are pieces which are unknown, but we do know how we wanna use it, how we wanna plan it. You should see their faces then. They are basically like, are you serious? And they usually need quite time to think about it, and they go back to be skeptic again, because as I said at the beginning, it's too good to be true.
We don't really talk about Kaspa as a crypto. We talk about it as infrastructure, because that's the language that we talk. That's the language that our ecosystem talks about. So we talk about Kaspa as a very important new piece of infrastructure as the digital economy starts coming on board, particularly for the energy transition and the new investments that are being made. And I listened to something earlier that stuck with me. The gap between a desire and a result isn't always time, it's alignment. And I think that's true in crypto too. And to me, Kaspa represents this obsession with reducing friction technically, socially, and culturally, so that the distance between an idea and reality gets shorter. And that's where initiatives like KAI matter. A lot of people on crypto Twitter say, yeah, we're just all talk and everything else. But that's what KAI was set up to do. It was set up to introduce Kaspa to industry and act as a market enabler. So KAI is effectively a bridge that makes the ecosystem usable, understandable, and coherent to industry. And when a community gets coherent, values, tools, messages, all these things start to compound. In terms of the conferences, are more people interested now over the past year? The answer is definitely yes, but it's shifting from, yeah, this is really cool tech, to show me the workflow, the compliance, the integration, the custody, the controls, and the time to pilot. There's so many of the other commercial VC-backed blockchains, based on whatever their proof of bullshit is. The interest is shifting from, they're tired of vapor. What they want is boring reliability. And that's where Kaspa's determinism and finality story plays very well. The vibe has changed, and for us, it's particularly within the energy industry, it's less hype, more movement, more procurement, and understanding the network effects, how we can better have community coordination, both between ourselves and the industry, and then, of course, Kaspa Core, and then the broader Kaspa general community. When many people focus together, this coordination field amplifies. Kaspa with a KAI tie-in, that's basically open source compounding, community coordination, aligned incentives, shared narratives. And I suppose Kaspa is building a tool the energy community can turn into its own infrastructure, where Kaspa acts as the base layer. And I suppose the real power of Kaspa and KAI isn't any single mind. It's a coordinated contribution, and we're starting to see that coordinated contribution happen, certainly within our ecosystem.
I saw a post recently, which I believe KAI had retweeted, which came from the International Energy Agency, which stated that amid ongoing geopolitical uncertainty and renewed volatility in energy markets, energy security has once again become a top priority. Now, of course, hearing that, my first and foremost thought is, well, what's KAI DI doing with Kaspa in the energy markets? Talking about the ongoing and growing geopolitical uncertainty, is that also what has added to this acceleration of alignment to get to know more about Kaspa, do you think?
In terms of roadmap clarity and initiative clarity, vague goals create vague outcomes. What we have to try and show is, what does success look like in concrete terms? Because the IEA report that came out, I think in November or December, the future is built in the present term. We want to ensure that people care deeply, but don't grip so hard that you stop thinking clearly. And signals matter. So the signals that are coming from the IEA, the signals that are coming from the AI industry, these signals are very important, but the steps towards contribution, education, collaboration, and then ultimately shipping usable systems for industry, these steps actually matter more. So alignment looks like action, and that's quite important. Are geopolitical tensions driving demand for energy security? The answer is absolutely yes. And you can see that constantly. You see that with what's happening with Venezuela. Energy is being weaponized. You saw that with the destruction of the Nord Stream pipeline. That was weaponized because of geopolitical tensions, wanting to put pressure, particularly on Germany, in terms of its energy security of supply. So in terms of KAI and the Kaspa angle, yes, those geopolitical tensions are very important. And what that means is that the world needs to trust infrastructure that works across borders, particularly when it comes to energy. The problem is, you need to have an infrastructure that works, and when systems fragment, you either A, centralize trust in a few intermediaries, or B, use neutral, verifiable rails. And Kaspa is a global neutral rail. And because of its characteristics, moving towards real-time decentralization, energy works in real time. When an electron is produced, it has to be consumed pretty much in real time, or else put in storage or turned into something else. Geopolitics, and particularly energy geopolitics, increases the value of systems that are verifiable without permission. AI is forcing a complete rewrite of energy economics, because data centers are energy factories. And as that grows, two things matter: procuring clean energy credibly, and then settling and auditing those claims at scale. It also drives lots of other things in terms of these hyperscale type data centers that, they consume vast amounts of energy, and increasingly they need to build them very, very quickly, and they're using fossil fuels to do so. Proof of clean energy sourcing, the certificates and contracts become very important. And this is where Kaspa fits, and where some of the KAI projects fit in quite nicely, because you need to have auditability. You need to have verifiable receipts for claims, especially across borders and vendors. And in terms of market tooling, it needs to be more granular, high frequency markets instead of quarterly paperwork. How can these hyperscale data centers use common infrastructure and bankability categories in terms of the risk and control associated with that? And that's before we even get into AI automated agents doing their own financial transactions, which is a whole other topic. In the latest DII report that's available on dii-desertenergy.org, the latest MENA outlook points to accelerating renewables and storage deployment at real scale, at real velocity, literally as fast as copper can be mined from the ground to manufacture this, which increases the need for better settlement and proof layers for clean trade. And that's not only for clean trade around energy, it's for all of the other associated trades. There needs to be a full end-to-end accountability and auditability at scale for these new hyperscalers to operate as we move into the AI economy.
Crypto crew, it's clear that while the rest of the market is either chasing the next meme, and or looking for the next pumps, Kaspa is quietly becoming the settlement layer for the energy transition and the AI economy on a worldwide scale. The takeaway is simple. Alignment looks like action. The KII isn't just talking about the future. They are building the boring reliability the International Energy Agency and data centers around the entire world actually need. The NDAs are thick. The legal obligations are real, but the momentum behind Kaspa and the KII is undeniable. Shout out to Crypto Pumps, Quick Crypto, and the Blockchain Banter team for conducting this incredible session with Envy and Rory. So what do you think, Crypto Crew? Is Kaspa's role in the energy sector the killer app the world has been waiting for? Let us know in the comments below.
Guess you guys aren't ready for that yet.
If you're looking for a pro Kaspa exchange, check out Blowfin, which offers rock solid security, no downtime, and zero.
So shout out to your crypto crew. BSL is on a slight pump. What is BSL? Let me see here. I think there is one more little quick video, and we'll shut it down. Let's see what this guy's talking about.
To Bitcoin back in the early days of when Bitcoin was first created. You see, you don't even have the price data between 2009 and 2010 for Bitcoin, but right now is what we're experiencing for Kaspa with respect to Bitcoin back in 2015. So this accumulation zone basically represents about 6 months, a little less than 6 months. Okay, so we're the time is ticking. We could have just one more month, something like that, a few more months, and then boom, back to 15 cents with this major spike that Bitcoin saw over here. And then again, going 2027 all-time high. That's what at least Bitcoin did, retesting all-time high and then just blast off. So are we going to keep to this trajectory? Who knows? Okay, literally who knows? Is it going to take until 2028 to reach a target that most of us are looking forward to, around a few dollars worth, even up to $4 or $5 possibly? Okay, nobody knows the level, how long it's going to take. But what we do know is that it's going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen. And in all honesty, I don't think it's going to be taking this long. You see pumps like what happened with Zcash. So here's Zcash. I mean, it's just a ridiculous pump. They're just consolidating for so long. And then basically like a mega 10x, a little more than 10x, looking at the market cap as well. I mean, it's just crazy. Looking at the log, it just makes a little bit more sense, especially looking at Monero as well. The price just absolutely skyrockets to unbelievable FOMO levels. Looking at the log chart, it's just pretty steady growth. So this is all what's coming for Kaspa. Looking at the log chart of Kaspa, just traders trading, macro redistribution, and that's all there is really to it. Okay, Bitcoin did the same, very healthy, very normal here as well. Yorichi, I'm not even going to try to say it, but here he goes comparing the price action of Kaspa to Bitcoin. Now, this is much more recent Bitcoin price action. So I don't think it's as fair, but it's definitely still a valid comparison. We're basically in that major bear cycle for Kaspa, and that's what a lot of these altcoins have been experiencing since 2021. So you're going to be selling your bag to buy the hype, to buy the peak of gold. You're going to be selling your bag to buy the peak of some sort of privacy coin like Monero. Nah, fam, heck nah, because it's all coming to Kaspa. And not just Bitcoin, but look in the past year compared to Dogecoin. Wolfie here posting some straight facts. This is something I like to share on CMC, showing the past 90 days, the past 30 days, past whatever amount of days, comparing it to the top 100 altcoins or, altcoins out there. Kaspa is definitely not an altcoin. I mean, compared to Dogecoin, I keep saying Doge, but it's Dogecoin. It's like literally the first meme coin, and honestly, trade it similar to an altcoin. The first meme coin, it's there. It doesn't provide really of any technical value, but it's just there as like an OG. And here Kaspa is trading literally the same as it. So chill, man. Chill. Kaspa is performing and following the wave of the rest of the crypto market. Basically looking at it kind of like risk on assets. Money is flooding to gold, flooding to silver. What's going to happen next, especially as gold approaches $5,000, especially with the silver approaching $100? You already know. Okay, Kaspa doesn't need any of it. Kaspa doesn't need any of it. Okay, Kaspa has enough. Kaspa has more than enough what it needs to succeed. Just heads down building. Developers are bringing to you the best, most optimized data network ever possibly created. data including currency. Okay, this sort of network includes currency, includes privacy, includes literally every single application for a network. You're getting here the most optimized version of a network. Of course, it's going to be adopted. Of course, it's going to be used because it's the best. It's the most optimized. There can never be something better. And if there is something better, guess what's going to happen? Kaspa is going to integrate it. And that's something Jonathan has talked a lot about as well. It's something here even Hans Moog is describing here. We'll be breaking it down as well, explaining how easy the architecture of Kaspa is going to be to upgrade, the way it's structured. The design inherently allows the ability to replace or upgrade components, for example, new proof systems, schedulers, et cetera, without rewriting the whole stack. That's the beautiful thing, the genius behind the Kaspa developers. That's where they're looking. They're looking long-term to maximize optimization of the network. If that includes further scaling with the internet, further scaling with hardware, Kaspa is going to do it. Kaspa Payments WordPress plugin, accept Kaspa Payments in your WooCommerce store. Pretty cool to see. I don't know what much about WooCommerce, but hey, integration heating up. There's also a very interesting post from Kaspa Hub talking about the quadrilemma. Quadrilemma, did I say that right? So not just the blockchain trilemma, but quadrilemma. And what this includes is a fourth term, sustainability. Okay, extremely important. Honestly, the trilemma basically covers sustainability because the security, decentralization, scalability, you can't continue being secure if there isn't sustainability. So I think honestly, sustainability is supposed to be built into security. It's like a subterm, it's subtopic within security, as well as decentralization. Because if, for example, the block DAG grows in size, grows, and what's going to happen to the nodes? Well, they're going to be able to scale with it because of the genius pruning mechanism of the block DAG and how it verifies the state via UTXOs all the way back to the Genesis block, meaning that's all you literally need to maintain the history of the block DAG. If you want to store transactions, then go ahead. That is not necessary to guarantee the validity of the Kaspa block DAG, to guarantee the decentralization or security of the block DAG. That's absolutely not necessary. But hey, you IRS, you want to do it? Go for it. Or just pay someone to do it. Because that's just what banks do as well. They keep the last 7 years of history. Then they don't care about it. Data costs money. You want to store data, it's going to cost. But for the average person to keep the block DAG running, you don't need it. It's genius. Okay. Kaspa devs, they're looking long-term, and that's what matters. Even Grok here explaining it. Bitcoin's base layer has a limited throughput, 7 transactions per second, which can drive high fees if demand surges. Lightning Network mitigates this for small, fast transactions, but critics argue it may not suffice for global scale without trade-offs. So basically, Lightning Network has massive trade-offs. It inherently has a lot of trade-offs in terms of security and centralization. So it vastly decreases the security of Bitcoin. It doesn't have Bitcoin security, and there's massive centralization concerns within the Lightning Network itself. I can make a whole video on this. The debate is real, and while some see this not being able to scale as a feature for security, others obviously see it as a flaw because, again, looking at the quadrilemma, looking at the sustainability long term, you need sustainability because security requires sustainability. Okay, if Bitcoin's not going to have high enough transactions per second to sustain miner fees for the security budget, it's not going to be secure long term. So we need a solution. What's the solution? Well, stop using Bitcoin and use something that actually offers a long-term sustainability plan in mind for the security, and that's Kaspa. Kaspa aims to fix similar issues with higher throughput without compromising security, without compromising decentralization, without compromising anything. And people that say, oh, there is a compromise because now you have to run an archival node if you want to see those transactions. Go ahead. Literally, you don't need to run an archival node. It's literally a complete optional. You see it like an extra feature. If you want to have that transaction history, go ahead, run an archival node. Just like a bank, just like the IRS will pay someone to show them that history, to validate that history. Sure, go ahead, run that. But it's not required to keep the block DAG, the Kaspa block DAG running and operational. It's absolutely not required. And what's also really interesting is that AI, they're starting to understand, okay? AI is definitely beginning to understand, but it still doesn't fully understand because it thinks it's like you got Bitcoin security or you got Kaspa speed. You can't have both. But Kaspa isn't compromising on Bitcoin security. Kaspa is not compromising on security whatsoever. On the contrary, Kaspa is improving upon Bitcoin security with Dagnite because DAG does not have a hard-coded parameter for confirmation time. Confirmation time is responsive to the network itself. That's mind-boggling, okay? That is next level. That's literally alien grade. That is the most optimized a network can get. You're running at the speed of the internet. You're going to have the max security as you ever require to keep your transactions secure. If the network is highly congested, then boom, it's going to automatically increase the confirmation times so it keeps your transactions secure, because if confirmation times increase, then you're going to have to wait for more blocks to be created. And as more blocks get created, it's going to make an attack on the network exponentially harder. As more blocks get created, an attacker needs to continue to race those blocks. Basically, an attacker needs to create more blocks than the whole network is creating. That's why an attacker needs more than 50% of the entire hashing power of the network, because the attacker needs to create more blocks than the entire rest of the network. So if you have a longer confirmation time, then that attacker is going to have to do that for an increased amount of time. The longer it is, the more costly the attack is. So during an event of such an attack, for example, the network's going to get congested, and DAGnet is going to wait longer and longer confirmation times until the attacker is drained of money. They can no longer sustain this attack, and they're going to be left with nothing. Not even Bitcoin has this type of security. So if you had Bitcoin's hashing power on Kaspa, the same amount of hashing power, say scaled and normalized to the dollar amount of mining equipment, for example, if you had the same amount of hardware mining on Kaspa as Bitcoin has, Kaspa is going to be magnitudes more secure on DAGnet because it's future-proof. It's as optimized as security can get. Okay, not many people understand this. Not many people will ever understand this, but that's where we're looking. That's the long-term picture. And right now, you got to invest in the future. All right, it's not pretty. The volatility is going to suck, honestly, but long-term, that's the money maker, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Heck, I hope you hold it back for life. And of course, maximize your exposure with Nacho the cat. The community is as decentralized as you can get as well. Max decentralization as a meme coin, building real infrastructure, and it's building with Eager Labs as well. They built a lot of things on Casplex. Now they're building also on Eager Labs. And there's some massive teaser out there of how Nacho is going to be integrating with Eager Labs and helping the whole system over there, and how Nacho holders are going to be winning from it. And just be careful out there, because you see a lot of things pumping out there. All right, for example, with Kango, I used to be a community member of Kango, and I left, and I'm honestly glad I did, because there were a lot of red flags I was seeing, and I've explained this in past videos. There's extreme amounts of centralization of how that project is run, and now it's coming to bite them. It's coming full circle. For example, with the community funds on Kango, they had a whole NFT launch and all the NFT mint.
That's the weird thing too with a lot of the KRC projects and a lot of things in crypto too, right? It comes down to the community. Once the community goes left, you're kind of just stuck with the project, right? Even the good projects, sometimes things don't go the way they should, and it kind of kills a lot of the momentum. And some of these guys aren't even serious about the project, right? So if it goes left, they don't care. Versus we invest in it and we think it's going to run. Because like you said too, I got out of Kango a long time ago because I didn't like the way it was going. These guys were trying to isolate a lot of the investors, and I wasn't even sure who was investing, because out of nowhere, somebody snatched up a pretty good portion of the KRC20 token, and then it just kind of disappeared. So it's kind of hard to keep track of these projects and who's investing in what, if it's legit, and where the project is actually going, right? You get caught up, you fall in one of these rabbit holes, and the next thing you know, the project's going the wrong direction and you're stuck, right? You got in, you thought it was going to go crazy. It did for a little while. Then these guys kind of took the money on several projects. They kind of took the money and went weird. And you're stuck holding back. So you got to be careful about which community. I know I've been in several communities I thought was going to go do big things, and it didn't, right? It kind of just went left. And I was like, dang, you guys had so much promise. And all of a sudden, a couple of people got in and tore the whole project apart. And then everything just kind of fell apart. Like, bro, you could have been big, right? You could have been big as the bank. And things fell apart, and now we're stuck, right? We were going, I guess, straight to the top. And now look at us. Things fell apart, and we went down with the ship, right? But let me know what you guys think about that as well. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, let's see where we at. I'm gonna shut it down because I want to do this Zebek at 7:30, but I want to eat real quick. But thanks for joining. As always, let's get back to the money and stay dangerous. Miners out.